Hey everyone, this is Taqueando and I'm your host, Bill Esparza. And this week, joining me on the podcast is the owner of Cuernavaca's Grill, Nayomie Mendoza. Hello, Nayomie.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on. So, a lot of people, you guys are known for your chile relleno. So, this is the part of the podcast where I talk about where I ate this week. So, I ate this week at Cuernavaca's Grill. Now, if you guys haven't had this dish, can you tell me because this is sort of your signature dish. It is your signature dish.
It's a chile poblano, and it's battered in our house-made batter, stuffed with Monterey Jack, and then it's drizzled in our house-made salsa and again cheese because we love a cheese pull. So, yeah.
But there's sort of something different about you marketed this dish as a big cheese pull dish, and it's obviously a little bit more grand than the usual chile relleno. But I do this is like Mexican American. We got the combo, but you have the tomato sauce, which a lot of Mexican Americans restaurants that I grew up with did not add the tomato sauce. So you guys got tradition here because they are always served in a tomato sauce, but then you added the cheese on top, which is very Chicano, and the rice and beans. But then you marketed with influencers. What was it during the pandemic that this happened?
Yeah. So during the pandemic, I don't know. I was going down the TikTok rabbit hole, and I was seeing normal people change their lives, and I was like, what could this do for like a small business?
Right.
So I just started posting, and then I think that was my third post, the chile relleno, and I woke up with 10.5 million views, and I was all like, okay.
Was that the first cheese pull?
That was the first cheese pull that we ever did. But I didn't realize how big of a thing like food porn was and cheese pulls and like there's this whole thing, right? So I was like, okay, so we have a chile relleno. Like, let's try to like keep the authenticity while still trying to, modify it a bit. Like, how far can we go? Like when it came to cheese pulls, I saw mostly like cheeseburgers and like every now and then like a pizza or like a quesadilla, and I was all like, how do we get Mexican food to make it on, the front page?
Right.
So yeah, in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna post like 7 times a day. But no, like the third post, it ended up going viral, and I mean, here we are.
Right. And so, but you did, these are, like I said, these are very big. You guys get big poblanos for this.
Yes.
Not your regular size ones. And you go to Mexico and you have this, it's a traditional fonda dish, and it's it's a very regular size chile poblano, and it's usually in a tomato sauce, and it's just by itself.
Yes.
In Mexico City, I've seen it in fondas where they do, comida corrida, right? Where it's like a course. It's the main dish of the 3-course meal. But this one is very special. So yeah, I definitely recommend to people come here and try this. And you get tortillas with it, and you make your chile relleno tacos, beans and rice. And it's funny, people always bag on combo plates. They say, well, that's not there are no combo plates in Mexico. But I was in Tijuana recently, and they actually had a combo plate, the taco de guisado stands.
Yeah.
In Tijuana, they call them tacos varios. But I always I'm eating tacos varios, and I had some different guisados. One was a taco de chile relleno. But everyone was ordering combo plates. They were getting the rice and beans not on the tortilla, but in a plate, and then they were choosing their guisados and getting them to go for lunches. I'm like, okay, come on. We have combo plates in Mexico. It does exist.
Yeah, no, and now that you say that, what's crazy is then because I remember people would comment like, oh my gosh, make a chile relleno like hamburger, and I was like, what? Like, no, that sounds odd. But then, the upcoming generation,
yeah,
that I guess we get our typical, Chicanos, and then we get like the actual traditional. And now what we're getting is a lot of the upcoming generation that still want to explore the culture. They I remember it was like a group of 5 of them, and they're like, okay, we want like a wet burrito. We want the chile relleno inside, and instead of putting the salsa inside, put it on top. And I was like, okay, that is weird.
The chile relleno burrito.
Yeah, the chile relleno burrito.
But that also exists
And I was all like,
in Chihuahua.
and because I don't know, I guess I'm so used to like the authentic, and
Right.
when I first took over Cuernavaca, I was like, I am not going to compromise, like, but then as the years have gone by, I was like, no, actually, like, this is beautiful. Like, you could still have a taste of your culture while still adding like your twist to it, and I don't know, it's just been a beauty to connect
Yeah.
with like all generations.
And serving the community too, which is really important. So sometimes people are so like, I'm going to do this, but if it doesn't serve the community that you're in,
Exactly.
that's really important, right? So at the beginning of the show, now you and I have something very important to talk about today, but I did do some eating this week. So this is the antojito section to start our discussion. And I thought I'd have you along with me to talk about where I ate this week. Well, again, Cuernavaca's Grill, another plug. I'm plugging it, so it's not shameless. I'm plugging it. And and I do recommend, and I do send people here. But I also went to Baja this week. Yeah, right? Have you been?
I have, yeah.
Okay, what's your move down there?
Okay, so you're gonna hate me. I don't really know names.
Oh,
But,
oh my gosh.
yeah, but when
You don't read my eater guide? No, you don't. She doesn't. Look at that.
well, look, I have a lot of friends that do a lot of cool stuff, and I try not to because I'm like, I want to categorize you like as a human, and like it just makes it that much better.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm not just here for utility for you, right?
of course not. But yeah, I mean, you were my friend before, like I knew, and then actually, this is a funny story. I went to Japan a month or so ago, right? And you just meet people when you're traveling.
Yeah.
And there was this guy that was like fangirling, and I was like, he probably went through like my Instagram or something, and he's like, no, there's someone really cool that like follows you. And I'm all like thinking and thinking. And I'm like, wait, who? Like Jennifer, because you introduced us to Jennifer Love.
Right.
And I was like, she's like everyone's crush. So like, a guy would probably, and then they're like, no, like Bill Esparza. And I was like, wait, how? Like, this is so weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
And then he said, so, like, on Netflix. And then that's when I did my deep dive.
Wow, that's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Jennifer Love, we do
Yeah.
love her. She is everyone's crush.
Yeah.
She totally was my crush when I was young,
Uh-huh.
And so when she sent me a DM saying she wanted to go take her husband on a taco tour, I was just like, oh no, I can't believe this is happening. So, but yes, we did have that wonderful day with her here. Yeah. Okay. So what's your Baja move?
So,
Valle de Guadalupe.
no, you've been telling me about that actually.
You haven't gone.
Gone yet. I am planning on going for my birthday.
Okay. All right. Okay.
But usually what me and my family do is like we go once a year, and then we just rent like a house, and then we just like sometimes they don't even have like signs, but we just go to random places, either eat salados, burgers, like we just do it all.
Whatever you see that looks good.
Yeah, last month or so we went and we had I think it was like a sarandeado,
Okay.
and then
Do you know where?
I don't know where. Don't
Yeah, you don't know names.
names, but it was amazing. And then that night we had a smash burger. Like I don't know, I ate everything. Like I'm
Okay. Well, all right. Well, let me tell you where I went. So there's a place called Bivalva, and as we expect, you like mariscos, right? So this is a place I've been following for a while. The chef Christian Herrera, he had a place called Oyster Shuck in Ensenada, and it closed down because after like a year they found out that they're not supposed to have a restaurant there. And so the owner was like, yeah, you can't have a restaurant there. I'm like, it was such a cool space. But then he opened at Anatolia Winery, and he's got this chef Cecilia, Chef Ceci, and she's the executive chef. And the thing is, they have the best product, like chocolata clams, and they use the whole, like most places don't use all of the clam, they just get the good part and they throw everything in the garbage. But he's actually using the guts of the clam to make like a pate. So they had a clam butter that had clam guts in it, but it's really tasty. And then they had a pate of clam as well. And then he had, I mean, the oysters are again, I think his partner is this company called Bendito Mar, and Bendito Mar cultivates oysters, different clams, and other shellfish that they all bring to this restaurant. So the product is just amazing. So you got to go to Vivalva, and it's just a cool. It's right at the winery. They just have like a little counter and some seats. Don't sit inside. It's hot as fuck.
Like in here.
Like in here. We had to turn the fan off for this. Okay, so like we're dying. No, I'm not. Actually, I'm not dying. But yeah, we got a little of that fashion district breeze. But eat outside because it was really hot, and I was doing it for the photos. So I'm like sweating, and they were looking at me like, "Do you want to move?" I'm like, "I'm trying to get the photos." I'm like really dying. And then I went to a place called Olivea, and Olivea just got their Michelin star, and really wonderful. Like 90% of their produce, they have a big, like a huge garden, and they take you on a tour, and they put the vegetables on your table for before each dish to show you which vegetables you're eating. And it's kind of a different concept because it's a vegetarian menu that you can add the protein to. So like for this one aguachile, you could have it without a protein, or you could have the fish. So of course I did the proteins.
Yeah.
And all Mexican wine lists, which you don't see as much these days. Everyone's starting to go international. So I went there, and I recommend those to you. I went to a fish taco place, so I can't talk about it yet. I can tell you.
Okay.
All right, off mic. I'll tell you. For everyone else, you're just gonna have to wait. People, these people DM me. They're like, "Where? If I didn't post it, I'm not telling you because I got to write about it first." And so, okay, so that was Baja, and then I went to some cool wineries that I recommend to you. One's called Clos de los Tres Cantos, really great winery. And I'd been before, and I wasn't impressed maybe many years ago, so I finally went back, and I really love it right now.
What changed?
They just got better at winemaking. Baja's wine industry is so young. Like it took France. People are, oh, well, it's not like France. Well, French wines took thousands of years to get to where they are, and really they didn't kind of fall into place till after this 1855 classification, being really, we're not just taco people, you and I, we're sophisticated world people here. And then in the late 1800s, they had phylloxera, and it wiped out all the grapes, right? And they had to use Missouri rootstock to regrow. And it just turns out that Cabernet and Merlot and these other grapes that are very common in like Bordeaux got like, okay, these are the grapes we're going to use because they're the ones that survived, right? But like in Baja, they don't even know that yet. They're still experimenting. Now, before I left, okay, I recommend this too. I had to take this restaurant off of my guide because they're always moving. We have these restaurants that we love and we follow, but they're always bouncing around. They close this place. And I'm like, I cannot keep writing updates for this person. And so I took them off the list. But I went there and they were open, and it's called Las Hueritas, and they do grilled quail. It's like $20. You get rice, beans, grilled quail, a little salad with bottled like Sam's Club Italian dressing, but and corn tortillas, and and I had to cross the border, and so I took it to go. But I'm so glad they're still there, and I'm gonna give them some love. But I recommend that place, even though it's not on my guide that you don't read.
I did read one guide, and it was a tamale guide.
Okay.
I know Sierra's was on there.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think you might have introduced me. Did you? You like them?
Oh yeah. Like they now have a coffee shop. Let me see.
I've been to the coffee shop, and that's where I think I included them. I forgot how I found them, but yeah, they're great. Also, a young woman business owner,
Yeah.
right? So that's where I went in Baja. Then in LA. Now, I know you, and we're going to get to this, but you and I both have been supporting other Latino businesses. Right now, it's messed up. It's messed up here. So I went to the Corredor Salvadoreño. Have you been there?
That I've heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really good. But, and I was driving by and I saw these canopies lined up, and I was like, oh my God, they're all here. And then I looked at the other side of the street and everybody was gone. So one side of the street was there, but pretty much all the food vendors are out. And it's only people selling like shrimp and cheese and fruit. I'm like, oh my God, this place is like, doesn't have, and this was on a weekday. And I asked one of the vendors, and she said, yeah, it's even on the weekends, it's been bad. And so there are basically two food stalls open on this one side of the street. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit and have some pupusas. And I wasn't even like, I don't even need to have lunch, like we eat so much as food writers, but I just wanted to support. And pupusas are delicious.
Exactly.
And just had a nice little lunch there. And I bought I bought shampoo on the street. You would never do that, would you?
That sounds so sketchy. But again, we are in LA, so
I do buy street vendor, and I bought a deodorant too.
gosh.
They're selling it. It's a good price,
Yeah, I bet.
and I wanted to support. You're not that down for support.
No, I mean I'll just give them the money. Like
No shampoo. Yeah, yeah. So I did. I shopped, got some supplies, shampoo. Sorry, and had these wonderful pupusas. And then I was just thinking about how, like, this is really messed up right now. Now here in LA, restaurants, especially Latino street vendors, I want to say Latino street vendors, mostly Central American and Mexican, are probably below 50% capacity right now. Restaurants don't have customers. People are in hiding. Restaurants are closing down, shutting down right now because of the ICE enforcement that's going on, the raids and the kidnappings. But one of the hardest hit districts right now in Los Angeles is the fashion district. The beloved alleys where Mexican, Latino culture have thrived since as far as I can remember. I'm here today to talk to a fashion district icon, Nayomie Mendoza, and Cuernavaca's girl about what's happening in the fashion district right now under the ICE occupation. But before I dive in, let me put in a quick plug for the Acquired Taste family here. Taqueando with Bill Esparza is powered by Acquired Taste Media. Be sure to check out our other podcast, the LA Food Podcast. That episode drops this Friday, available wherever podcasts are heard. Vamos a taquear! So Nayomie, your business here, it's down. Like, what would you okay, I know you know the numbers. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of our vendors and our restaurants don't have business backgrounds, and so they just know, like, we're just down. But what would you say your numbers are right now?
I would say we're down by 80%. And that's us being very fortunate because I know businesses that sometimes don't sell anything a day. And I'd say the reason why, like, we still have that 20% is because we do like delivery. And a lot of the vendors that are in the alley, they order because they're afraid to go out. They're afraid of, like, they're just there and they're on high alert. But, a lot of these vendors are living day to day. So they are compromising their safety. So whatever it is, like whether it's like, oh, I just want water, like they will order it. So that's what's keeping us going. But I mean, we've been doing, me and my dad, we've been doing a lot of like research, like what can we do to help, even though like we need help as well.
Right.
And yeah, like we're very fortunate to have that 20%. And that's just on the restaurant side. We do have catering and all of that. And I'm like, we're fine there. But that's not the point.
No.
So like if I wanted a catering, business, I'll just shut down the restaurant, run the catering. It's easier.
Right.
But that's not the point of it. The point is about community, and it's been hard. I was like talking to my dad this morning, and I don't know. Like, I just feel like our hands are tied, right? Like earlier this year, we went through the fires. The first thing we do is we all just help the community. Right. And we knew, like, we immediately, like, it was instinct. We knew what to do. We had raids earlier this year. We educated a lot of people about their rights. And that was when you were still, like, allowed to exercise it. But now it's so volatile. And you really don't know what you can exercise or what pushes the limit. And I feel like that's why everyone's in fear right now. And, I mean, days go by and you walk down the alley, you see new closures. The sign on the Santee Alley, it really does live up to it. We are open 365 days a year. So to see it so dead and to see some of the days like closed, like it's so bizarre. It is so, like, even in COVID, everyone was still trying to thrive.
Right.
There was still ways around it. The community was still supporting each other. But now it's like we want to post, we want to support, but also like if a video does go viral, will it call attention? What will happen when that video goes viral? How much support do we need? Or like, really who's safe over
No,
it?
it's hard.
Yeah,
It's hard to know what to do.
exactly.
You guys did better in the pandemic.
Yes.
Every conversation I've had with restaurant owners and street vendors is the pandemic this is worse.
Oh yeah.
And so that 80% loss of business probably is a lot of locals. You have your customer base is local.
Yeah. And a lot of traveling, especially during this time. Like we know, I mean, everyone knows around, the fashion industry. Okay, like January, February are going to be kind of like low during, February, Valentine's Day approaches. We have a little bit of a rush, but summer is what like everyone really depends on because that's when
Right.
you get a lot of tourism, a lot of travel coming in, right?
People that can't shop during the school year, they're
Exactly.
coming down with their families now that they have a little bit more free time.
Exactly. And then also, like, I feel, and I've seen this so much, whenever someone wants to feel like a taste of Mexico, because again, a lot of people are
Yeah.
not fortunate to go back to their native land, they come to the alleys and they drive like 4, 5, 6 hours. And we used to see a lot of, those people during this time. And obviously, everyone is so scared right now that no one's making the drive anymore. And then in relation to COVID, I feel like, yeah, like COVID hit hard, but I feel like we're all destined for community. Like,
Yeah.
and if you're not, then I don't know what to tell you, but I love people. I love meeting people. I just like if I'm not around people, I am like the most depressed person. And then especially during COVID, you're isolated and
Yeah.
you still have that fear, but you're gonna go out because you sense that longing for community. You just slap a mask on your face and you're still walking around. But now it's like you're just in fear, period. Like you don't know what's gonna happen. Like it doesn't matter if you're a US citizen. You really don't know what's gonna happen.
This is the problem, right? Is it we could say documented people like myself, okay, could walk and shop, but I could also be picked up. I mean, to tell you the truth, I was coming across the border and I had a secondary inspection on the 94 in the United States. And for the first time in my life, somebody asked me for my visa, the Border Patrol agent, and wanted to see my passport, which they've never asked for before. And it's always, are you a U.S. citizen? Yes. And then if they might ask where you're going, but now I could just feel that heavier inspection. He got weird about a map I had of the wine country because it said La Ruta and was thinking it was like a smuggler's map. Because there are maps where I'm like, what kind of good smuggler would leave that on their seat? And it like clearly looks like a tourist, so as a documented person or an undocumented person, you're walking through the alleys and you're brown or look Latino. I'm a light-skinned Mexican, but I was profiled. So it's like, do I want to go shopping bad enough to be tackled by 20 guys? It's you kind of don't want to gather where people gather, right? So let's talk about, you've been here for 8 years. Who are the people in this fashion district, in these alleys? I mean, we know the hot dog vendors, and my experience is that they were Mexican and Central American vendors, and they have a really unique menu, right? They have this hot dog that I don't know where it's from because it doesn't look like the hot dogs in Tijuana. It doesn't look like the ones in Mexico City. It doesn't look like the ones in Sonora.
Pico de gallo on top.
Right. And all the sauteed onions and peppers, like it feels like some kind of hybrid that really only exists here, right? And so people come to the alleys for hot dogs. That was always the case. But then you have like La Salsa, which they make incredible tacos de canasta. I'd say one of the better tacos de canasta vendors in Los Angeles. And you agree?
Oh yeah.
All right. See, we right here on the pallets.
Like nieve de garrafa.
Right.
Amazing.
I love their setup. It almost feels like a real like theme park.
With like the screen and everything.
Right. And the way they're located in that little center, that end of that one alley where it kind of intersects. I love it. It feels like Pirates of the Caribbean or something.
And trying to push like like the fashion district to add screens everywhere. And my dad's like, no, Naomi, you're not gonna convert it to Times Square. And I'm all like, but it would be
It
better
could,
for
it
marketing.
is los tiempos.
I was like, we're not compromising culture. And also, like, imagine
I
how
think you have a great idea there.
viral it would go on TikTok.
Yeah.
Everyone would be saved. Like, we'd be fine.
Viral on TikTok. I forgot I'm dealing with a Gen Zer here
The
today.
other day, I was like, beef. So, like, wait, what?
Yeah, you were losing me the other day when we were talking about we got some tea. I don't know if we'll spill it. Shh. Maybe
Maybe.
we might. So who are these people? So you go and you who are your favorite vendors in the alleys in this area in the neighborhood?
So,
Street vendors.
okay, does this span beyond food or?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Where do you shop? I want to know. Since you won't buy shampoo on the street, like what do you buy here?
Do you know how expensive it is to maintain hair? Like,
I,
for a woman, it's like 300 and up, like a session. Like, you have to take care of it.
okay.
So, but I do shop a lot here, especially. Oh my gosh, do you know what a labubu is?
A what?
A labubu.
Boop.
Let me show you.
Okay, show me.
We are educating Bill here. So I actually don't have mine, but it's like a little monster.
Okay, that looks like a Teletubby.
Okay, so you add them to like your purse.
Oh, you strap it on your purse, like
Like a little keychain.
and do
but
kids put that on their backpacks in school and stuff?
grown adults.
Grown adults do it?
Yeah.
A lobupu?
Yeah. And a lot of people come to the alleys to buy clothes for it. Like they have like Dodger shirts.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have a lot of nieces and a lot of friends as well, grown adults.
Okay.
So they're like, hey, like you're in the alleys, like, so yeah, I'll just go shop for like a shirt or like if they want purses or like little chairs for their labubus. And every time I go, like I either stop at like the alley dog for like
Right.
las frescas, always stop at La Salsa. And if I don't eat there, I have their nieve de garrafa. And I think he's the owner. But every time I go, like he has like some new flavor and
Yeah. I respect you a lot as a businesswoman. And do you see what they're doing with their tacos? They ship them.
yeah.
That's crazy. You can buy them in New York.
I really love like how far they've taken their
It's amazing. Yeah, it's an amazing story. So you have all these vendors. We have the hot dog vendors and they're they're cool little carts where they'll do tacos and hot dogs and burritos and things like that. And you have la salsa, you have your boo
plug.
Labubu plugs, the plugs, see. But like people are from all over. I mean, where are people coming from that you're encountering here in the alleys?
Gosh, everywhere. Like, okay, so I'm also a Swiftie, and I've thrown
I know you're a Swiftie.
Swift events and all of that. So like themed menus. When Taylor was like in town, and I don't know. I think this was like the coolest.
Did your economy go up
Oh yeah,
because of Taylor? Okay.
we love her for that. So basically, I mean, the alleys were a known thing, but I feel like they've popped off even more these past 3 years. And when Taylor was in town, I posted like the menu. I was like, we're gonna have it at both of our locations. But the cool thing was that people would come and shop for their outfits, their boots, and like DIY everything. And
Right.
then they would come and have like the Eras tacos. And we saw people from like Paris, from Spain, from like absolutely everywhere. And that's why we love summer.
Right, because
Yeah.
it is a tourist destination. A lot of people don't know this, but rich Mexicans come here to buy cheap clothes.
Exactly.
That's crazy. Like, so I have this part of my family that's really, we're all middle class over here, in the United States, my family, but in Mexico and Aguascalientes, they're like millionaires. And so they're like, oh yeah, we just come to LA to go to Disneyland and go shopping at the fashion district. So it does get an international crowd, but then you have people here from El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, all over from Mexico. And they're not only working as street vendors and have their own shops, but it's really they're the entrepreneurial engine of this whole neighborhood, which is one of the most famous shopping places in the United States. So
And what a lot of people don't know is that this, the fashion district, it's where like all of the styles originate from. And I started diving deep into that. I think it was like 5 years ago during COVID time when the sweatshop things were like a big deal.
right.
They were starting to expose like how much they were really getting paid. And you know, one thing I do love about the fashion district is that everyone comes together. Like my dad always says that it's like little bees, right? Like when the queen was
Right.
there and everyone just like follows, right? So yeah, like we started working with like, fashion vendors and realized that that's where like they would originate from and ship like international and
There's really a path, right? People work in the factories and they get expertise and they open their brands. And I'm not making that up, right?
make
But Latinos, Mexicans, Central Americans, really, we're talking about those groups specifically. A lot of indigenous people, they come here and they have ambitions, and people think they're just coming here they're going to do this cheap job for a while, but then they're going to open their shop in the alleys. And some of them have been there for forever. And we've never had anything. I think about like my family's from Aguascalientes, and there's this thing called the Feria de San Marcos. Do you know it? It's the biggest state fair in Mexico. And like it's it's been the only thing that stopped it, the Mexican Revolution didn't stop this thing, right? And it was, I think, the H1N1 flu shut it down, that like the 1 year that it stopped. But this feels like the same thing where COVID didn't shut down the alleys. It changed the business model. And even you for your restaurant, it changed the way you sell your food.
Yeah.
But this is the first time that literally the alleys are shut down. The fashion district is closed. There are no shoppers. Tourists aren't coming because nothing's open. And even tourists don't want to, who wants to go to a country where they're grabbing people off the street? I've been to Cuba and they don't even do that there. I mean, I felt the military presence of a dictatorship, and there's a police patrol everywhere, but they're not grabbing people and tackling people, So like this is worse to me from anything I've ever seen. And I feel like this is also like this communal place for all Latinos that we all come here. And I come here for street food, and I'm always looking for little nooks of places, like little restaurants that open on the sides that just, and all the different spaces inside here. And for you, like you probably know, like beyond that one, the stuffed animal, are there stuffed animals? It's the boo-boos. There's a bunch of other places that only you know about. Do you gatekeep some of these places?
No, I don't. I don't know. I feel like I know the owners and their stories that I'm just like everyone should know about you.
Right.
And then whenever I
Oh, you're
want
you're
to,
very good about that.
yeah, I'm very good at spreading the word.
You are.
But whenever like I'm like, okay, you have a long line, I'll just DM them like, hey, I need this. Like,
Okay, so
I'll stop by. I'll sell you.
uh, yeah, that's the other thing. Please get Zelle. That's for Latinos. Zelle is the thing.
It's crazy. So when the raids started, I was in Europe and I was on their FYP, right? And I got the call like at 3 a.m. because the first raid actually happened a few blocks from here.
Right. Ambience Apparel
Yeah.
is 3 blocks from here. So yeah, you have a unique position because you were part of 2 major incidents. There was that. You were out of the country when that happened?
Yeah. I got the call and I was like, okay, so I was like, okay, protocol, this, and that. And my sister's like, they're not really following protocol. Like they don't really care. Like it's a lot different this.
Right.
So then I was talking to like a few Europeans over there, and they're like, well, he can't be that bad. And I was all like, what? And then they're like, just watch the news.
This is the worst thing that's happened to this country, is this idea that someone who is telling you who they are, that can't be that bad, and let's take a chance on, let's see if he kidnaps us or not. Naomi, you were saying earlier that you've adapted the restaurant to the neighborhood. a lot of people would see this as I would say like, oh, this is Mexican American food, which I'm very familiar with.
Yeah.
And again, this dish is just amazing. Like, people like to make fun of Mexican American food, but I'm like, it's delicious because it's actually one of the most popular things out there. I mean, people are so open about Mexican flavors. They love all kinds, right? And so you've adapted, instead of being a traditional Cuernavaca style restaurant, which I think would probably be a hard sell here because, and it's a one, I've been there.
It's so beautiful.
It's what's the city of the eternal spring, and it's wonderful weather. The Chilangos go there to vacation,
Yeah.
and the gastronomy is amazing. That whole state of Morelos, and where your dad's from. So let's talk about your dad, Marcos Mendoza, and his story, because that's where Cuernavaca's Grill started, right?
Yeah, so he migrated here in search for his American dream, like many. He was so ambitious, right? Like, I am going, well, he came from a family of politicians, actually.
Oh, wow.
And he wanted to focus on gastronomy, which I always tell him, Dad, we would have been more stable if you were a politician.
Yeah, really.
Because, like, the restaurant industry is a whole other, yeah.
It's what a time to be in the restaurant business, right?
Exactly. I mean, to be in my 20s and have survived COVID, right, like,
Flyers.
yeah. I'm all like, I do not have a regular life. Like,
No.
no one could argue. But yeah, so he was like, I want to be in the restaurant industry. He didn't know what that looked yet.
Right.
Like yet. He actually hadn't studied any like culinary arts yet, but he started as a dishwasher, worked his way up in 6 months.
And you know what? This is what people who vote against Mexicans and Central Americans coming to this country, this is what honestly, what they really hate. They hate the idea that somebody's going to come here and wash dishes that has real ambition, that will do that job and do it great, because your dad is like, this is a path for me to open my restaurant, and I'll do this job. And restaurants are like, yeah, we love that you want to work here. We talked about this last week, who wants to be a dishwasher these days? It's people that are recent immigrants. It was your dad. And how long did he wash dishes before he was able to kind of get out? Fast.
So that restaurant that he was at was actually about to go bankrupt, and they were like, I don't know how many millions of dollars in debt. And my dad's like, look, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. I don't really know how to cook professional, but if you put me in school, like, he literally laid out the ground rules, right? And he's all like, and I will have you a positively thriving restaurant by the end of the year. And he said that he thought that they were going to laugh at him. And I guess the owner was so desperate that he's like, okay.
It sounded good to him.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. You don't have any restaurant experience, but you're going to learn. Okay, fine. Sign on the dotted line.
Okay.
Where was that?
It was called To Die Restaurant.
Okay.
They sold for, I don't know.
I mean, with that name.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, they sold, and like, he happened to be like one of the investors of Chase, or like, I don't know what route he took. But when my dad was there, I think it was like less than 20 employees in that year.
Yeah.
It grossed $10 million. And my dad
Wow.
was there for like a while.
So he came through.
And our lives, like, they changed like this. Like, we went from like, going to school in the hood to like going to a charter school that this, his boss was now paying for. And he's like, I really, really want your kids to be well. And we were the only Latinas in like a predominantly white people's school. And it was definitely like a culture shock.
Sure.
But I would say that in that season, I learned so much that has helped me with the journey that I'm on right now. And then from there, my dad's like, okay, like, no, like, you guys need to go back to the Latino school because you guys need to get in touch. Like, you guys need to go back to the hood.
Right.
And get in touch with our community. Like, you should be able to blend in with both.
Right.
And you should never forget your roots. So during that time, my dad had already started Cuernavacas in Long Beach. And he was starting to grow. But it was very limited.
What was the menu like at that time?
He started with just tacos and tortas.
Okay.
And he's all like, and burritos, and he's all like, I don't like that. Like, I want to put actual dishes on the map.
Right. He wanted to make up a restaurant with plates.
Yeah. So then, in seventh grade, I got in trouble because again, I went to a charter school that was severely advanced. And they wanted me to learn like the quadratic formula. And I was like, I already know the quadratic formula. Like I shouldn't have to like I was arguing with the teacher.
Oh,
I was like, I could like literally sing it in my sleep. Like I really can till this day. And he's all like, well, if you think you're too smart, then leave. And I was like, okay. So I left. And it was like a moment of crisis. I was like, I'm gonna get in trouble by my dad. Like, you know, goody two shoes over here. Went to the principal's office.
I called you that the other day.
And yes, so then they're talking about how they're like Taco Man pulled out of like a science fair and it's like 24 hours away. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna like use this to my advantage. I don't know how or why I had a flyer in my backpack and I took it out and I was like, we cater. And we didn't even cater. So we didn't even cater. And
It runs in the family. You guys just do wild things. You just take chances. You take chances.
I could name you so many stories, and you'd sit here like, yeah.
So dad says, I don't cook, opens a restaurant. You say, we cater and you don't cater.
I don't know how we got the grill, but we pulled it through, and I think that first contract was like $6,000 back in like 2007.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm on top of the world. No, I still got in trouble, but
Right.
that definitely started like it opened a new avenue. My dad started getting more connected with the community and we started growing and we started having lines that went out the door. But we realized that Long Beach was only so limited. And then when LA presented its opportunity, we're like, okay, this is the place to be.
That's this location.
This location. And then we realized,
And that was 8 years ago.
yeah. And we realized that people would still make the drive
Right.
because I mean, Latinos like we come here all the time anyway.
Right. And generations after generations are going everyone comes here.
Yeah.
And that's when you expanded the menu.
And that's when we expanded. And then that's when we realized like it's more about impact. Because even to Long Beach, I was like, we were in North Long Beach, most random spot, and people would still make the drive.
Right.
And this was before like social media fame or anything. And I was like, okay, like I think I don't know. I was probably like about to be 18 and I told my dad, I was like, I think this is about impact. Like if you're already impacting people in Long Beach, like imagine what you could do in LA.
Right.
Like LA, like if you thrive in LA, like you're fine. Like you're good. But yeah, so then we made a switch and we've just been here since.
Yeah, and you're now one of I'd say a handful of restaurants that people know about in this area that have gone in like faith, you know, like with everything. Like Sonora Town is here, you know. So this restaurant has been doing so well until recently. Now you guys have another location.
Yeah, in Bell.
Is that the same menu?
It's yeah, the exact same.
So you found your footing, and of course you found this viral dish, the chile relleno. But this is like you said you're 80% down. Are you 80% down at both locations?
In both, yes.
And in addition to being you were here for the onset. I mean, you weren't here physically. Was your dad here at the restaurant?
Everyone was here. Like it just honestly, but it just caught everyone by surprise. It was like a regular day.
It was one of those things where we saw it happening and we didn't. It took us like a moment to like, oh my gosh, this is like. Even my a friend of mine from Mariscos, Jalisco, they were saying, well, at first it just looked regular, but then we started seeing HSI jackets and other things, so it looked like a big operation. But you were also there for the Battle of Bell, which people have called this, where residents of Bell, a huge Latino majority community, just came out and basically resisted a kidnapping, and ICE vehicles left there dented and broken windows, and I'd say that they had the community had a big impact, and it was a positive thing. And if people will say, well, why are you, someone like me supporting that? I'm like, because they're kidnapping people, and they're taking away constitutional rights. And I've seen that happen before in other countries. And you're supposed to resist that, you know. You should resist a lawless attack on your community. And so what was that like?
So the crazy thing is, when I, again, I was in Europe, and when I saw these things happening, I initially thought, okay, Bell is gonna sustain us, right? Because I'm like, okay, here we're in a predominantly like it's so easy to target. The LA fashion district has been through so much these past 5 years. Like, I really, really give my respect to every business owner. So, and then when it comes to Bell, I always say that it's kind of like an emerging Downey.
Right.
Yeah, like it's where all the pochos and chicanos like live, and it's a little bit more gentrified. It's getting nicer. It's growing. A lot of our customers that are like on the little like higher end, they like to go to Bell because it's nicer. It's aesthetically pleasing, right? So we never thought that Bell would go to that. Well,
It's always been such a relaxed place. You know,
exactly.
it's where, I mean, I think a lot of people in Los Angeles that follow food first heard of Bell was because of La Casita Mexicana, that's been there forever, and it's a LA institution, and there was always good Mexican food in Bell and around Bell, that whole area.
Like the neighboring cities,
Yeah.
right? Like Bell Gardens or like Southgate, but they're like Bell Gardens. Like,
And Bell is always so chill, right?
it is. Like, we never really see things like that. So we're like, okay, so we know our community is gonna support. So we're like, they're gonna support us in Bell. Like, that was initial like instinct, right? But then about 2 weeks ago, it was rated like every day that week. We're talking the bus stop across the street. We're talking the In-N-Out on the other side of the street. We're talking the plaza. Like, it was just so much.
Yeah, it seems like, you know, from everything that I've been reading in the news and different reports, and on social media reporters as well, is that all the data that ICE is collecting has a lot of deportation orders in those communities, and it's an insider thing too, of all the Chicanos, unfortunately, that are working for ICE, that probably also know, hey, it's all these guys, and here's where you go, and here's where everybody's at, because they've grown up in these communities, which is like the most heartbreaking part of it. It's our own people. It's also our own people calling in tips, you know. But definitely, they've been focusing in those areas around Bell, Pico Rivera, Maywood, and even going up to Boyle Heights in that area, Montebello. And that's where, you know, the sad thing about LA's sort of segregation, that we've had these communities where we're separated, right? So these are where Mexicans live. These are the strong Mexican majority neighborhoods. That's where all the enforcement's going, and all the raids and the kidnappings.
To one of my friends who's in Venture, and she was telling me that in West Hollywood, like, it's fine. And I was all like, really? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, and our gardeners there, and like everyone's safe. So I definitely think it's like the data collection for sure.
Yeah.
And I also feel like leadership has a lot to do with it, because they were like, they were rated. She said it wasn't as bad, but she's like, someone probably like said something. And I feel like that's why Bell hasn't been attacked anymore, because the mayor was there.
Right.
The fire department was helping, the police department.
So you were at Bell during this thing.
Yeah.
And so what was going on in the restaurant for you?
I was more like on the restaurant side. Everyone's all like, we should just go home. And then like all of our neighbors, everyone left home early that day.
Right.
And I mean, we see like,
You saw what was going on social media, or you actually physically saw it?
I saw it, but not up close.
Right.
So yeah, like I was like, I think they have it under control, because the police department did do everything in their power. And I mean, if more cities were like that.
Yeah, and the fire trucks like drove those vehicles. They were trying to back up or something, and the fire trucks drove them out. We love the fire department, by the way. We don't love the police department right now. I mean, they're obviously collaborating in a lot of different ways, but the fire department has always got our back since the fires till now.
Last week, there's actually on top of everything,
Right.
there's a fire. So they called us for food, and I was like, yeah, of course, like anything for the fire
No,
department.
I'm right. Exactly. I mean, it's crazy when we think about, this, speaking of the relationship with the fire department. It's like all the Mexican and Latino food trucks that came out and supported during the fires, during the relief, feeding firefighters, feeding police. Don't do that anymore, by the way. Don't feed the police. LAPD, nothing. The fire department, yes. Okay. But clearing the debris, after the fires, clearing, some of these people are gone now. The people that were helping clean up, the people that were feeding firefighters.
And this is what no one talks about because we were out there as well. It didn't matter like if you were like in a food truck or anything, like after a while, and this happened to me, I think on the third day, you start feeling the effect of the debris.
Right.
So like you're compromising your health
Right.
for like a department that really,
That doesn't have our back.
yeah.
Right.
So no, like I'm telling you, like I think LA, especially like the fashion, like we've been through so much, like COVID, SAG, right? When SAG happened, I think a lot of people like missed out, like on the studios weren't ordering anymore.
No, I mean,
Wildfires.
I forget to include that one all the time, but that was another devastating
Like I
event.
didn't think that that would hit as bad as it did, especially to a lot of like the West Hollywood area, Santa Monica area. So I think a lot of like my restaurant friends that come from that area, they were like, okay, 2025 is gonna be the year that we're recovering. But I feel like it's kind of like 2020 again. You know how we were like, oh my gosh, 2020 vision, like.
Right.
But no, like I do think that obviously like as Latinos, as united as we are, like we are gonna pull forward. But usually like even with COVID, we're like, okay, we're gonna get out of this. And right now it's kind of like we know we're gonna pull forward, we just don't know how.
I am speaking out, and I've even shifted. I wanted to talk about food and tacos, this year. I wanted to promote restaurants and talk about where I eat, and now I'm having to talk about this. And I am using my privilege and my platform, but there's an emotional toll on all of us right now. I'm sure I've said this before on the podcast, but like there are days when, you just have to, and it even feels guilty that I can get away from it, And I was in the Valle and I was just sitting there looking out at the mountains and the vineyards, and I was drinking wine. I was thinking, like, this is the way we all should be right now. There shouldn't be a woman crying on the street because she's being taken from her family, or the father being taken, or children being attacked at their schools, having the schools having to shut doors on these, these bloated, masked jackasses that are attacking people. And I've had my moments where I can compartmentalize things, but I know, I've talked to you, friends that I had another friend that I actually was going to bring on the podcast at some point here. And this friend was so emotional that I said, you know what, I'm going to give you a break, because I know you're having we're seeing this every day, and people still can't see it the same way we see it, which is sad. Throughout history, this has always been this way, but still, we are going forward. You have survived so much here. You and your dad almost died recently.
Yeah.
He had a exploded appendix. He had an exploded appendix that sat in his body for a week. And I did not have as bad of a situation, but I almost died at 19 from an appendicitis surgery. And so it's amazing to see your dad walking around. I mean, that's, over all of this, that's the best thing that's happened to you recently.
Yeah.
But you've been through the pandemic, and you found really a way to market your business during that time. You've been through the fires, and a lot of people don't think, well, oh, it's all these, fine dining restaurants, but it affected you here in the fashion district. It also, the strike, the actors and the writers strike, you've had that. And now maybe the most challenging thing that's ever happened in a neighborhood that still continues to have raids. I mean, why did you choose the fashion district? And do you think this is still the place for Cuernavaca's Grill?
I think this will always be the place for Cuernavaca's Grill. And I don't know if you watch Marvel. Huge on that, but like if the multiverse is real, like I hope that
I'm 56. I read Marvel.
Doctor Strange, yeah.
Yes, I grew up with the comic books. So I have been obliged to watch many horrible movies because I grew up with the comic books. Yes.
So I've been told. So yeah, like it's funny because we've come really far with
Right.
Cuernavaca's Grill. And the funny thing is that a lot of people think that Cuernavaca's Grill is this super fancy, like high-end place.
Right.
And then
It's a neighborhood spot.
and it is a neighborhood spot. And like I would even say like for a really long time, hole in the wall, right? Like it was a hidden gem. And to me it's such a pride because I'm like you don't have to be high end to make it out there. And it's also a pride because we grew up coming to these streets. Actually, this is where I learned how to be an entrepreneur, to just be like in a place where I mean people would categorize it as like the swamp meet even, or like
Yeah.
you wouldn't think.
This is our own tianguis.
Yeah.
A tianguis in the image of Latinos in Los Angeles.
So, like, when people like think of Cuernavaca's Grill, they wouldn't think that it's located in the spot that it is. But to
Right.
me, that's a pride because it's like it doesn't matter where we're located. We made it that far as Latinos, and to be in these predominantly, white people spaces where Latinos are finally getting recognition.
Right.
I think that that's, opening your doors for so many more. So we have had so many people like approach us and like, hey, like make it into like something higher end, or like we're gonna invest this, and that. And I always decline because I'm like, that's compromising like our culture.
Right.
That's compromising, and denying access to the community that built us. So yeah, like I think it'll always be a place. And I think the even cooler thing now is that now we're seeing these new generations take over their parents' businesses and get on TikTok and like Instagram or whatever the platform may be, and take them to different heights. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel was just at the Flower District like last week.
Right. So you're talking about the Diego Luna takeover week where it was all Mexican themed and
Exactly. So just to see the fashion district finally get the recognition, like for its culture, for its hard work, I think that this is definitely going to evolve, and it's a rough patch that we're going through right now. But I'm like, we've come out of COVID, we've come out of so much. What I have seen, no matter how hard it is, the resilience in our community right now more than ever. So I don't know if I'm like a masochist when it comes to this, but like when things get hard, I'm like, it's okay. Like I'm gonna come out like better. Like 2024 was probably one of the what I thought was one of the hardest restaurant years, even in comparison to COVID.
the COVID whiplash years are the worst.
For us, like I'll speak on stats. The eggs, right? We use them for chiles rellenos. They went up by 96%. Isn't that crazy? And then there's a decline of surplus. Like I could go down that rabbit hole.
And eggs really haven't quite found. I feel like we're stuck with the eggs.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I don't have it in me right now to do the voice and do the eggs thing that, when that president guy. And it's just ridiculous to have him say that when this is going on in our community, that he's talking about eggs.
So like as that was going on, like I still like I was like, okay, we're gonna take a step back.
Right.
We had one of like the biggest years ever. Like I mean, we made it on national TV like many, many times, and that opened.
Yes, I've been seeing you everywhere.
So many doors because like every time we're on there.
And you didn't even need any influencers to help you.
That's the team.
You're actually a businesswoman?
Hustler.
You're a hustler. You're a hustler in the hustle center of Los Angeles. This is the hustle center of Los Angeles and our communities. The entrepreneurialism, it comes out of here. a lot of people do come here to try their business shops out, opening up a little stand or something before there's probably so many stories that we haven't even told.
I don't know if you've heard of them, the Pink Talk.
I do. I have heard of them.
She's as well. She loved fashion. She loved, her culture.
Right.
She used it. And I mean, look at where she's been. Like, I think this is definitely.
Where was she here?
She was literally down the street. Literally, like, she started in a little
space.
Yeah, no, in a little cart, actually.
She is started in a cart?
Like, smaller than a hot dog.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
She's in Boyle Heights, and she's just been everywhere since. Oh, she also has a Labubu themed brunches.
Yeah, I do like to make things up that are true. I figured a lot. I mean, I don't think that's a stretch. A lot of people do start their businesses here. So this is really the sad thing right now, that we don't really know when this ends or how this ends. And it's not like the pandemic. I mean, in a sense, maybe we could compare it because people were dying, and we all know someone who died. But right now, the violence of the kidnappings, the lawlessness, the just overkill of having 20 huge men surrounding a woman and pulling at her and dragging her while she's screaming, and you're watching someone being dragged away whose life is going to be ruined forever. And everyone that ever knew that person's life is ruined and will never recover. And especially if they're actually deported, which has been happening, of course, or they're in some private prison on a floor, being tortured and abused and neglected and malnourished. This is the toughest challenge for the fashion district, but you're not going anywhere, are you?
And we've been, posting and doing street style reporting, and I've just been trying to communicate with like everyone that I know, like, hey, share this, or like, it goes a long way. I mean, even the neighbor down the block, like, I posted his fashion and stuff, and like, he's like, hey, like, I got 10 customers in today. Hadn't seen customers in a while. And sometimes, like, you don't realize that just pays like a bill, like, even if it's like as minimal as a light bill.
Right. Everything helps right now. So that's what we need. We need people to come out. I mean, yes, it's even risky for me, but if it's not a risk for you, especially, the fashion district needs you. Come to Cuernavaca's Grill. I recommend the chile relleno plate combo. And it comes with two?
It comes with two.
It's a big lunch, so come hungry and support the business. And they can also get delivery from here, right?
Yeah.
Get delivery. If you can't come down, get delivery. This is what we need. Thank you so much, Nayomie. And I'm so happy that your father is still with us. I'm still happy your businesses are with us. And, we are supporters. So again, we're telling everybody to come out. It was wonderful to talk to you today.
Thank you for having me. It's always so good talking to you.
Always.
Always.
Thank you for tuning in to the Taqueando podcast this week. And be sure to tune in next week for another episode. And please leave us a rating or review wherever you listen to your podcasts.